can any of you respond and say you're convinced he's a franchise quarterback, Gabriel? Can you say that? I don't think, in fairness, you can. And I, for one, want to see Sanders before this season is over to know whether we got to make a deal or trade up to get the best possible quarterback that's going to be available in the draft next year. So, to answer your question, I think we're getting close with Gabriel to get Sanders in there, and let's see what we got with the kid from Colorado.
What if I told you Cleveland sports radio just turned into a therapy session they forgot to schedule? Because the city didn't just debate quarterbacks this week, it combusted. Bruce Drennan, a man who has survived decades of Browns heartbreak, finally snapped on live television. And this wasn't your average bench the quarterback rant. No, Bruce went full preacher, courtroom prosecutor, and motivational speaker all at once. His message was simple. Dillon Gabriel is done, finished, clocked out, and the Browns need to hand the keys to Shedeur Sanders immediately.
That can help inject some life into the team as well now that has passed, and this is the team going forward, and they can all focus.
Yeah, I understand the question, Daryl. I don't know how much guys spend time thinking about those type of things. I know it's speculative, and I know there's plenty of news outlets that cover those type of things, and that's what you have to do. But our guys don't spend much time on that. We kind of keep our focus where it is, and so that's the sense I've gotten from the guys.
Not next year, not later in the season, now. This wasn't analysis, it was a cleansing fire. Ever since 1999, the Browns quarterback position has been cursed like it was personally hexed by a rival fan with a voodoo doll. Every time a new QB arrives, the city convinces itself this is the one.
If you look statistically at Sanders' career with his dad at Colorado, a vast majority of the majority of his yardage was picked up on safe screen passes. Plus, getting the ball into Hunter's hands. You get the ball into this guy's hands and he can take it all the way. So, that's a tough one, but I would say so.
The cycle of hope begins. The jerseys get printed, the hype videos roll out, and then boom. The collapse happens. Mechanical, predictable, inevitable. The Browns don't develop quarterbacks, they devour them. So, when Dillon Gabriel stepped under center, Cleveland didn't need to see much. They've seen this exact story for 20 years. Safe throws, hesitation, drives stalling out like the offense is running in thick mud.
Shouldn't Shedeur start over Dillon Gabriel? Shouldn't he get the start first?
Oh, I don't think so at all.
Well, here's my thinking. They want to see what Shedeur Sanders is. He's a throw-in. He's an asset. Dillon Gabriel's going to be here as their backup quarterback in your mind for the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
No rush in getting him in there. Let's see what Sanders can do.
I still think you got to think of the locker room and throwing Shedeur in there from number 3.
You don't think Shedeur is well received in the locker room?
I'm not sure that teammates think he can win.
Gabriel plays like every snap is a multiple choice question he hasn't studied for. And the fan base? They're exhausted, not angry, just tired in their bones. But Bruce Drennan, he does not get tired. Bruce gets louder, and then volcanic. When he saw Gabriel loft yet another 5-yard pass on 3rd and 12, Bruce didn't just criticize the play. He declared a quarterback revolution. He pointed straight to the bench, not at a clipboard holder, not at some placeholder backup, but at Shedeur Sanders.
The way that offense was constructed, you got the same results because what you want in your defense is for you to make turnovers. They forced 2 turnovers against the Minnesota Vikings. And Dillon Gabriel still couldn't get it done because he's no threat to force the ball down the field. Even the last play of the game, before Kevin O'Connell called the timeout, the Hail Mary interception, he couldn't even get it to the end zone. That thing fell 5 yards short of the end zone, and it got picked off by Isaiah Rodgers, but it didn't count because Kevin O'Connell called it.
The Colorado kid with the sunglasses, the gold chains, the posture like he's starring in his own highlight reel. Bruce started talking about Shedeur like he was a prophecy, not a player, a hero storyline waiting to unfold. A spark that could jolt this franchise back to life. The city heard him, and the city liked it. Because here's the truth, Cleveland doesn't just want a quarterback, they want a leader. Someone who walks into the locker room and changes the oxygen. Someone who plays like the moment belongs to them, not the other way around. Shedeur carries himself like that.
The narrative that's now leaking out of Cleveland, it's a question. And the question is, does Shedeur want to play? Is he going out of his way to not be available to play? Now, he did practice on Wednesday. He still has some ailing back issue. To be fair, I'm a doctor. I saw him go to Colorado during the bye week and surprise Dion at Colorado, and he looked fantastic. The Browns now want people to think that Shedeur is inventing a back.
He always has. The confidence, the composure, the swagger. He's not rattled. He doesn't blink. You don't teach that. You recognize it. So now the debate isn't about talent. It's about timing. Should the Browns throw Shedeur into the fire right now, or protect him until the roster around him stabilizes? Analysts fought. Fans argued. And then the locker room got dragged into the conversation. Some insiders whispered that Shedeur needs to prove himself first.
Dillon Gabriel is not an NFL quarterback. It's time for Shedeur to be in the lineup. Otherwise, you're going to see Miles slamming that helmet either
Has
way.
to play sometime during the year. I'm not sure if it's right now, but you got to see him 3 or 4 games.
Within the next three weeks or so, we should see Shedeur Sanders.
Others claimed teammates weren't convinced he was ready, but Bruce wasn't hearing any of it. He said, if the team is emotionally flat, you don't fix that with patience. You fix it with shock. And Shedeur is shock. Meanwhile, rumors started swirling around Shedeur's injury status. Some people in the organization suggested he was managing a back issue. Others suggested he could play right now.
Finally, Tony Grossi has come to his senses about Dillon Gabriel. After his observation of Dillon Gabriel in these 4 games that Dillon Gabriel has been on an NFL field, he's finally came to the conclusion that Dillon Gabriel is not an NFL quarterback. Now, in the past, Tony Grossi was vouching for Dillon Gabriel, talking about he was much better than Shedeur Sanders. That's why Cleveland has him as the starting quarterback ever since Joe Flacco has been traded.
But was waiting for the perfect moment. Then a report pops up of him smiling, traveling, moving fine during the bye week. Suddenly, the conversation changes tone. Now, it's not just about coaching or playbook or timing. It's about belief. Does Shedeur believe this is his moment? Does the team believe in him? Do the fans? Bruce didn't hedge. He didn't soften the blow. He said the quiet part loud. Dillon Gabriel is not the future. He might not even be the present. He's a placeholder in a city that's tired of placeholders. Every time Gabriel throws the ball, it feels like hope is being politely declined. Every drive feels like the offense is apologizing for existing.
If he doesn't get promoted from QB3 to QB2, what happens?
What I think happens is that you put even more pressure on Dillon Gabriel in his second start than he had in his NFL debut.
If he's not promoted.
If Shedeur Sanders is not promoted to QB2.
Why is that?
Because then all of a sudden you start to ask all of these questions as to why. There are only 2 quarterbacks on the active roster right now.
And then we get the game. The one where everything changed. Cleveland's defense forces turnovers, makes stops, keeps the team alive. But the offense? Nothing. Gabriel hesitates, pump fakes, double clutches, and on the final play, the moment where legends take control, he uncorks a deep shot that doesn't even make it to the end zone. A Hail Mary that lands more like a modest prayer request. It gets picked, and the stadium exhale isn't disappointment, it's surrender. Not anger, not booing, just silence. The kind that says,
it feels like if you're the Browns right now, you need to get a look at everything you possibly can, because you're going to be going into a draft where you might have to make another quarterback decision. And I wouldn't want to go into that draft saying, well, I never even got a look at Shedeur. Well, then why'd you even draft him, right? And that's a very, very frustrating conversation for me as somebody that evaluates all these players every year, right? Try to get to well over 300, and I feel like especially getting to talk to, about 45 of them one-on-one at the Combine each year, I generally have a good idea of what guys can and can't do, what the development plan should be.
We already know how this ends. The camera cuts to Shedeur on the sideline. Sunglasses on, calm, unbothered, almost poetic. Like he's waiting for life to cue his entrance. And Cleveland feels that. Football isn't just physical, it's emotional, it's spiritual, it's narrative. The city didn't see a backup quarterback. They saw a reset button, and that's when the chants began. Start, Shedeur. Start, Shedeur. Slow, then louder, then undeniable. The walls start to shake, and the coaching staff knows exactly what comes next.
You have to squeeze more out of a 3rd and a 5th round pick, though. You can't have it be the competition was Dylan versus Shedeur, and then next year we're just going to act like both of these quarterbacks don't exist.
Well, no, they'll still be here because I think that's crucial. If they did,
you have to get something out of them.
What do you mean?
Even from a backup quarterback standpoint.
Well, isn't that I think the plan with Dylan?
I'm agreeing with you is the point.
Because I think Shedeur's the one you're not going to get something out of. I think he's the guy that if he's not the starter next year, could just be gone.
If that's what it ends up being, that's what it ends up being. But the point is that you have to find the value in there somewhere between the 3rd and the 5th round pick. You can't just say we took these guys and